Hey guys, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm doing a whole series on You Asked, Ken Answers, and I'm really trying to go through a lot of the email and a lot of the messaging and a lot of the stuff in our forums, of really heartfelt questions that I hopefully will give you answers that will benefit you. We have Raji from Indonesia, and he asks, what is the difference between head voice and falsetto? And I think he meant falsetto, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, so I just did a whole webinar on this, or a live YouTube live stream. And I did one on falsetto, I've done one on head voice, I've done one on mixed voice. So please refer at least to that on YouTube, because I've got this. And I cover this thoroughly in my singing course called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else to get you to these places. Around 1970, there was a rift that happened, or a split that happened between bel canto, appoggio, which is the operatic old school style of singing, which is awesome, and then theater. So the theater world started taking on different ways of looking at the voice. So head voice was ascribed mostly to women when they passed through the passaggio into their falsetto register. The true definition of head voice is actually anything that resonates in the head, which, an operatic person would say, yes, anything that was in the head, right? So there was this split that happened, and so definitions started to get a little blurry, and people started coming up with their own definitions for things. Well, me personally, how I like to look at this is like this, because Grandpa's been doing this a long time, and I really I duked it out with a lot of different people trying to understand how to make this make sense. The first thing is that I don't believe that head voice should only, and I'm going to get killed by the opera community for this, but I've just got to say it for what it is. If we don't have a uniform understanding of a definition, it makes it a very slippery slope and very hard to identify how we're supposed to understand how to apply it, right? So I actually like how the theater world took a definition and said, no, wait a minute, hold on. We're going to take the female voice at that time, and we're going to call head voice, or her falsetto voice, head voice. Let's say this again. We're going to call her falsetto voice head voice. But the guys, they still kind of, dilly-dallied around, and they never called the guy's voice head voice. Well, if you're going to call the girl's voice head voice, let's call the guy's voice head voice. Well, the difference in this is, again, a very fine line, and let me explain this. A girl's vocal folds are about half the size of guys, so when they go into their head voice, it can sound very similar to their chest voice. And so it was more like, and then mixed voice is through the passaggio, through the break, the register break, and how this has been defined. Well, so guys, when they would go into their head voice, a lot of times it was, or falsetto, I should say at first, it was kind of hooty, fluty, and it wasn't as defined because their vocal folds are bigger, and it flips into a whole different registration. And so what I like to do is I like to say, look, let's get the guy's head voice to grow like the girl's head voice, to where it matches the tonal qualities of their chest voice, so they can have one long, powerful note, and then we have no contradiction in terminology of head voice, falsetto, chest voice, all these things. And chest voice is also synonymous with the call register. You've probably heard that in theater as well. So on Broadway, they have what's called the Broadway belt, and they would, belting, you heard this term belting, or the call register, or this or that. So think of calling, hey, 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 belting, hey, you know what I mean? So we want to really consolidate these terms so we can understand them, so we know how to move forward in for our own singing success. So anyway, I hope this was beneficial to you, and I hope it answered your questions. Again, I've done 2 large live webinars on this, and I cover this really extensively in my course called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else. Okay? Hope this was helpful. Hey guys, if you like what you heard, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to get notified when I have a new cool video come out, you need to go to my channel and click on this little bell icon, and it will actually notify you every time I have a video come out. Thanks guys.